anniversaries continue to be difficult to face after 3 years. Is there a way to minimize their effects?
So I think in some ways, because our body remembers, our body holds the score. So our memory is wired to sight, sound, touch, and smell. So a particular time of year, the season, the smell, the place will be like Jaws music in your body, the dung, dung, dung going up to that particular date. Mm-hmm. And I think in one way, what supports you is recognizing that often it's the lead up to the, the day that is important, that is often worse than the day. But also that the idea of the paradoxical theory of change, like don't try and have a better day, because if you're kind of determined, don't set your bar so high, like this year, I'm not going to be so upset, because in some ways you set yourself up to then be kind of white knuckle it. Whereas if you accept that these are difficult days, this is a difficult week for me, this is always a difficult week for me, and put in place time to allow yourself to process, to have a time of quiet, to remember the person, to, as I say, journal or do something that's a touchstone to their memory, but also put in place things that support you, then you recognize and manage that time, because often it's the lead up, it's the day, and then it's another couple of days. Feeding into that is that we can't control our feelings, but we can, where we put our attention and where we put our focus brings up feelings. And so this movement, as I talk about a lot in the app and in my book, of loss and restoration, if you allow place and time for both, that supports you to be adaptive and wire your natural adaptive process. And actually, what some people have often told me is, once I'd done that, there was a year that I didn't even notice the Memorial Day, and a day later it's like, oh my God, because you've allowed your body to, you've allowed your system to adapt. But it isn't by blocking it, it's by facing it. You know, that thing that I've said before about what you don't face, you can't fix. Not that the grief is fixable.